number one in the interwebosphere of YouTube programming. Water kind of exploded there. Number one most professional show in film review.
Always.
I'm Mr. Ross. To my left, depending on what orientation your screen is Mr. Jack Death PXM, aka at Moshinobi on YouTube. Special show today. Well, first and foremost, go check out The Toxic Avenger. Go check out our The Toxic Avenger 2023 review. I put the year in quotes because obviously it came out in 2025 with Bloody Disgusting stepping in for the rescue. One thing we forgot to mention in Toxic, guys, he reused that the Toxic theme music from the original. When
good call, yeah.
I wanted to mention that, then when we were done the review, I was like, damn, I forgot to mention the theme song. Crap.
Yeah.
Shout out to Macon Blair.
Yes, Slippy, very good call. Indeed. Yeah, I recently went through them all because we were thinking of looking at those movies for the channel. So yeah, man, good call. And I've just left it ever since.
He's just left it as sometimes I change mine, but sometimes it will drop us, and that's why I got bounced back to Ross Lee when we were doing that other review that had nothing to do with basically if it drops us, it'll reset our name. So obviously I'm Mr. Ross because I didn't want to go with one of the colors that was from not in the movie. So Reservoir Dogs, we all know it's a heist movie without the heist scene. It's a modern rendition of Yokimbo. I haven't seen Transfers, so I'll have to jump on those. So the main characters, low-key ensemble cast, Mr. Orange, Mr. White, Mr. Brown, Mr. Pink, Mr. Blue, and then Gaz and I will unpack some of this stuff. So it was important to me to get this review up here. I just want to say rest in peace to Michael Madsen. A little celebration for one of the most epic careers of all time. Of course, Mr. Blonde, is this, infamous role. Reservoir Dogs kind of put him on the map. He's also Bud, I think, in Kill Bill. He's, very frequent fan. I believe he's in, what's it called? The Hateful Eight. So a famous Western crime face. You've even seen him in some absolutely terrible movies. What was that vampire one? He did the video game rendition of Gaz. That movie's absolutely terrible. But regardless, Mike Madsen is the man. It's a bit like how Honest Trailers said the difference between a good bad movie and a bad movie is Patrick Swayze. I would say the same thing about Michael Madsen. The difference between a good bad movie and a bad movie is Michael Madsen, because if he's in there, he's going to give a fire performance. There was some other stuff that I wanted to watch of his as well, guys, that I haven't got to. My brother met him at the premiere of Strength and Honor in Boston.
Oh, wow.
Boxing movie, like an Irish crime movie about bare knuckle.
Yeah.
And he said Madsen was cool as hell. I've never heard a bad thing about him. So, I just watched this video. The 50 Facts You May Not Know is pretty awesome. Mr. Blonde is Vincent Vega's brother from Pulp Fiction. That's correct. Vin and Vic Vega, the Vega brothers. Tarantino actually had a Vega brothers script, and he just decided, I don't know if Travolta aged or what the reason was for not doing Vin and Vic Vega, but me and my homie Vega the Chosen, shout out to the Hip Hop Heads podcast, are Vega Brothers fanatics. So that's the one. I know you're not a big Tarantino head, guys, but that's the one that I really wanted to see. I was like, dude, he has to do Vin and Vic Vega, because obviously Vic is in this one. Or wait, what did you say? Mr. Blonde is Vincent Vega's brother. Yeah, so Vic Vega is Mr. Blonde from Pulp Fiction, and Vin Vega is Travolta from wait, did I mess that up? He's Mr. Blonde from Reservoir Dogs. Anyway, you guys see what I'm getting at. I know that got overly complicated for a couple of brothers in the Tarantino universe. Welcome to Paradigm Review Show, the most convoluted film review show on YouTube. Madsen is good in Sin City and Donnie Brasco. I forgot about him in Brasco. He's amazing in Brasco. Sin City's awesome too. Yeah. The guy is just great. When he works with Tarantino and Rodriguez, he just works well. So you have anything you want to jump in on?
Yeah, actually, to kick us off before we even get into it, could you give us, for the audience, a look at the Blu-ray that you have?
Sure. It's in the disc is in the player, but if you guys want to see this bad boy, this is 4K. Go ahead and pick this up on YouTube. Amazon. I don't know why the hell I said YouTube there. YouTube is stuck in my brain. because I haven't eaten yet, guys. I'm Sicilian. I'm totally useless if I don't have food in me. So you get one of these with the Blu-ray and the DVD, and that's a digi copy. You can save to iTunes or various other digital platforms. The other disc that's in there is this, which has our three boys.
Oh, that's nice.
Know that shot. That's Buscemi, Pink, Mr. White, Harvey Keitel, and Mr. Blonde. They're looking into the Mr. Blonde's trunk there. He had something that he wanted to show them. He was So Gaz and I will come to that scene. That's slightly before Stuck in the Middle with You. And I do have, since Gaz requested, here's the actual sleeve.
Oh, nice.
I do love them walking out. That's kind of an iconic scene. That was
the coloring and the lettering is nice, man.
4 perfect killers, 1 perfect crime. We got our boy Blonde with the soda and some screen panels for the movie. So I hope you guys love Reservoir Dogs. Gives you a plug for Jack's Rabbit Slims. I know. So the dude, Stephen Wright, that's the radio DJ. So of course, K. Billy's sounds from the 70s. Reservoir Dogs, a semi-famous score of all 70s music, of course. Little Green Bag, Stuck in the Middle with You, as you guys mentioned. Or actually, I believe that song's called Joker's Wild. Clowns to the left of me. Yeah, I don't know if there is a steelbook for this. I usually I try to get the steelbooks if I can, but if I can't, I'll just get the 4K Ultra Disc. Let's tap in, Gaz. I can't speak as usual.
No, well, just sorry. Shout out to everybody. Thanks for joining us as always. And if there's anybody's got any fun facts they want to share about Reservoir Dogs, feel free to do so, and we'll get to them as we progress. We'll try and keep it in some coherent order for you as well. We'll have good luck with that, but we'll try.
Yeah, absolutely. What was I going to say? We'll get the trailer posted for you guys if you haven't seen it. Also, if you haven't seen it, please hit unsubscribe. You usually hear me saying like, sub, share, but if you haven't seen Reservoir Dogs, you're on the wrong channel. You can just
no, you're fine with me. That's cool. It's totally cool.
No, not fine with me.
It's fine with me. Fine with me.
Yeah, go check out the La Boo Boo reviews, or maybe check out like Info Wars or something.
La Boo Boo from South Park.
Oh, I just watched it last night, bro. It was genius. It was genius. That was insane.
The tariffs.
Like, Jesus. He's like, I think they're doing some kind of ritual. He's like, that's not good. Yeah. Anyway, sidebar. Go check out the new South Park season. Hilarious. I don't know if Beavis and Butthead started yet, but I think the first episode is out. Season.
Ooh, sick. Yeah.
I'm a big Mike Judge fan, and then obviously King of the Hill. Shout out to Mike Judge. All right, that does it for updates. Let's do our synopsis. Reservoir Dogs. Here's the poster they have on IMDb. 5 total strangers team up for the perfect crime. They don't know each other's name, but they've got each other's number. Of course, this is Tarantino's directorial debut, 1992. Genres: gangster, heist, crime, thriller. Gaz and I will have the debate on, is Reservoir Dogs a heist movie? Because it's an interesting concept, right? You don't actually see the heist. So insane. He wrote the screenplay in 3 weeks and shot it in 30 days at 29. I mean, let's just keep it real. When you're crutching on Yokimbo, pretty much anything you write is going to come out good. But you know what I mean? Because it's a good starting source material. Remember, Gaz had asked me about that when we did the Yokimbo review. But, you know, Tarantino, the guy who's kind of famous for, I don't want to say bringing Kurosawa to the West, but more like modernizing Kurosawa, publicizing it out here. You know, I can imagine that a lot of Tarantino fans probably had no idea who Kurosawa was until he started talking about him all the times in interviews. You know, Yokimbo, Reservoir Dogs, Kurosawa, blah, 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 blah. You guys really didn't think you're going to get through a PRS review without us ranting and raving about Kurosawa, right? They're like, it's Reservoir Dogs. Like, why won't this guy shut up about Kurosawa? Synopsis. When a simple jewelry heist goes horribly wrong, the surviving criminals begin to suspect that one of them is a police informant. I mean, I just love the simple concept, guys. I love the one location. We talked about one location shooting, like Roshomon, Reservoir Dogs, even Terrifier 1 kind of crutches on that one location, which is cool. And I just want to do the cast real quick, guys. So Harvey Keitel, Mr. White, Tim Roth, Mr. Orange, Michael Madsen, Mr. Blonde, Chris Penn, Nice Guy Eddie, Steve Buscemi, Mr. Pink, Lawrence Tierney, Joe Cabot, Randy Brooks was even Holdaway. He had those 2 scenes with Roth. I thought those were dope, guys. Kirk Baltz is Marvin Nash. We'll talk about what happens to him. if I'm not mistaken, I'll try to find it on Wiki. Eddie Bunker, Mr. Blue. I wish we had Mac for this review, because Mac knows a lot about these heist movies, guys.
Great.
Eddie Bunker is actually was a real criminal, so I think he
right.
with what do they call that when you're like a on-set like
consultant,
like a concept a concept consultant. I think he was like the crime consultant. So we'll have to see if we can find anything on that. Tarantino's obviously Mr. Brown. We'll talk about what happens to his character. So pretty interesting. You know, you got like everything from legendary actors like Harvey Keitel and Buscemi to like a guy that really had crime in his resume, like Bunker. Which, you know what I mean? Kind of brings authenticity to the Heist film, which is cool. So anything else from you, Gazzy, or do you want to jump in on the intro and the plot?
No, let's jump in, man.
So typical Tarantino. So that he's you know, Tarantino dialogue. So Gaz's favorite part probably wasn't when the film starts and they start talking about
no, mine was the end, but anyway,
like a virgin. So you have some Tarantino metaphors there.
Love that song.
Madonna. Who doesn't like that? And then you also have, I think it's Joe Cabot looking through his address book, looking for Toby. So it just, you got these guys, you don't really know they're gangsters yet. They're just kind of at the breakfast bar, and it's just like, it's kind of a random scene. And then what kind of sets the tone is them walking out to the car, to Little Green Bag. They're obviously wearing their suits. They're all wearing the same thing. And that's obviously for the reason that, you know, when they're going to be doing this heist, it's like, hey, what were they wearing? Oh, they were all wearing the same thing. You know, you can't really identify them by clothing. So some interesting things there. What up, Dark Side?
I do think there's two notable performances in this film, though, that I don't think get enough credit. Obviously, Steve Buscemi and Chris Penn, rest in peace, Sean Penn's younger brother. Yeah. When we're introduced to them in the diner, and there's that whole thing with Steve Buscemi, you know, he won't tip the waitress. I do feel Chris Penn's character and Steve Buscemi are definitely the standouts. Most people always go, you know, all respect to Michael Madsen as well. Michael Madsen, Harvey Keitel, obvious reasons, you know, Bad Lieutenant, etc., etc. Yeah. But I do, for me personally, I think Chris Penn is one of the standouts in the film. I do think his performance is really good, and Buscemi as well. So that whole exchange at the beginning, Ross, really does set the scene for introducing the characters. That there is a difference in the way they operate as well. Buscemi often talks about being the professional in the film. Come on, we need to keep some calm, keep some control. So that is interesting.
Sure, so Pixie was saying they're talking about True Blue, but they're also talking like a virgin, Pixie. I'd hate to be a Tarantino nerd and correct you, but what it establishes is the heister's relationship to nice guy Eddie and Joe, his dad. And what you see is Larry, a.k.a. White, a.k.a. Cartel. He's a Midwesterner, a bit of an out-of-towner, but he has done jobs with them. Vic Vega, he worked much closer with them. He got popped at one of their warehouses with a bunch of stolen merch and did time, but he didn't rat on them, so he did the whole bid. So he's much closer to Eddie and his dad, versus Pink. I think he's essentially a random. And so some of the guys are just like, they're, you know, they background check him and all that stuff, but they don't necessarily know. I think the stream should still be up as far as I know, Slip. That might have been a drop on your end. But if everybody has good audio, and we're not really talking about metal bands live right now, Red Cloud, but I've seen Slayer, I've seen Metallica. Those are probably the best ones I can give you off the top, but I might go see Black Braid because they're coming out here soon. But anyway, back to Reservoir Dogs. Here, I'm going to pull up, I'll just pull up the intro of Reservoir Dogs is a 1992 American crime film written and directed by Quentin Tarantino in its feature directorial debut. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. It stars Harvey Keitel, Tim Roth, Chris Penn, Steve Buscemi, Lawrence Tierney, Michael Madsen, Tarantino, and Edward Bunker as diamond thieves whose heist of a jewelry store goes terribly wrong. Kirk Boltz, Randy Brooks, and Stephen Wright also play supporting roles. The film incorporates many motifs that have become Tarantino's hallmarks: violent crime, pop culture references, profanity, and non-linear storytelling. The film is regarded as a classic of independent and cult film. Although controversial, At first, for its depictions of violence and heavy use of profanity, Reservoir Dogs was generally well received, and the cast was praised by many critics. Despite not being heavily promoted during its theatrical run, the film became a modest success in the United States after grossing $2.9 million against its scant budget. It achieved higher popularity after the successes of Tarantino's next film, Pulp Fiction. A soundtrack was released featuring songs used in the film, which are mostly from the 70s. It was named Greatest Independent Film of All Time by British film magazine Empire, which in 2008 also named it in the 97th greatest film ever made. So it sounds like everybody out in the UK likes it except for Gaz. So you got to get on par with Empire magazine there, Gaz. I thought they were good, man. Slayer was insane. I was at the second to last Slayer show ever. I also saw that film that they made in the theater.
But they've reunited. They've been doing some shows again. So I'm pretty much going to be back.
Mm-hmm. A lot like System of a Down, but they're only doing those big festivals. Yeah, go. Black Parade's insane. I was just ranting and raving to Gaz about Black Parade this week. Okay. Plot. 8 men planning to rob it. So we're going to do spoilers, guys, because it's a 1992 movie, so deal with it. Like I said, if you haven't seen it, you're definitely on the wrong channel. 8 men planning to rob a jewelry store for a diamond shipment, eat breakfast at a diner. To pull off the heist, boss Joe Cabot assembles 6 experienced robbers who are strangers to each other. Joe and his son, nice guy Eddie Cabot, have known some of the team for years, but to shield identities, the rest use aliases. Mr. White, a career criminal. Mr. Blonde, a trigger-happy ex-convict. Mr. Orange, a reputed drug dealer. Mr. Pink, a paranoid neurotic. Mr. Brown, a pseudo-philosopher. And Mr. Blue, an even-tempered cohort. When an alarm is tripped during the heist, after Blonde started to shoot the bystanders, the police arrive quickly. Running for the police, Pink hijacks a car, killing a couple of police officers in a shootout. White, who shoots police officers pursuing in a prowler, flees with Orange, who is shot hijacking a car at White's instruction. Gut shot, Orange bleeds profusely in the backseat of the car driven by White. So I think that's essentially where we come in, and then they flash back to this. White driving Orange shot in the stomach. What's up, Maltano? Yeah, Slayer's fire. You saw Slayer with Slipknot. That's dope. The no-tipping conversation with Mr. Pink cracks me up. Yeah, he said this is the world's smallest violin for all the waitresses who, you know what I mean, complain about their tips. And keep in mind, this was 1992 before inflation exploded and the dollar fell off and tariffs. So, no, I did not. But I do have Slayer DCs. I got pretty much the only Slayer kicks that are out that are now sold out. So deal with it. My Slayer fanboyism stopped here. Despite Orange's pleadings to be taken to a hospital, White insists that he's not fatally wounded. At their warehouse hideout, White and Orange rendezvous with Pink. So we're first introduced to White and Orange, as I said. White's trying to talk Orange through getting shot in the stomach. We don't yet see how he's shot or why he's shot, but I just read it to you guys in the summary. But me and Gaz will break that down. And then the first dude to show up after them two is Pink. Orange pretty much passes out from shock. And then I really like that exchange between White and Pink. It's not really a bathroom, but it kind of looks like a bathroom, Gaz, of that room with the sinks in the warehouse. They smoke a butt, and they're kind of, Pink is telling him that he thinks the cops were there too fast and ready too quickly, that he thinks someone's a rat. So they have basically a back and forth there, and it sets it all off.
Yeah, that's where he's telling him to calm down, as I mentioned earlier, and stressing that he's a professional. No way did the cops get there that fast without tipping him off. So on top of the inciting incident, which kind of serves as a kickstart for the whole film with Mr. Orange, who we've seen who's obviously been shot, it kind of adds that subplot. What happened, who's betrayed them, out of the number immediately has the audience thinking back to the table when the characters first met. So who is the one who is either undercover or wants to take everything for themselves and has turned on them? So quite an interesting dilemma already.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the warehouse, even the angles. There's a kind of, when they go back there and they smoke the butt together, there's kind of like that down the hallway kind of shot of them, like kind of in the back of the room. So just like Tarantino's angles are this movie, again, we'll come to the 360 shots and the flashbacks and all that stuff. But there's just some amazing, like for one location that's an empty warehouse, you're like, what can Tarantino do with this? And then he just takes like some amazing like framing out of some of that stuff. Did you kill anybody? A few cops. No real people. Just a couple cops. But yeah, so you can see that the heisters, they're all about, you know, killing cops if they got to get out of there. They try to avoid the civilians, but as we're going to hear with the Mr. Blonde debacle, definitely some civilian collateral damage goes down there. White and Orange rendezvous with Pink, who informs them that he has hidden the diamonds nearby. Pink believes that the job was set up and the police were waiting to ambush them. White informs Pink that Brown is dead. Blue and Blonde are missing, and Blonde, a loose cannon, murdered several bystanders during the heist. White is furious that Joe, his old friend, would employ Blonde, who he describes as a psychopath. Pink argues with White, who feels responsible for Orange being shot, over whether to get medical attention for Orange. And Pink is wary that Joe is not there to get the doctor. The pair draw guns at each other, but they stand down when Blonde arrives with a kidnapped policeman, Marvin Nash. So before we get to that, Pink and White are having an argument that White told Orange his real name and where he was from. And Pink tells him, like, dude, once they have that, they can link it back to you, and then you're able to be traced. And he's like, I obviously don't want I don't want that coming back to me. They actually get in a bit of a fight, a scuffle, guys. White told him, like, if I tell you back off again, me and you are going to go round and round. So he knocks him down, starts kicking him, and then they draw on each other. And then again, that's one of the famous posters too, with White on the ground and then pointing the pistols at each other. That's where we're introduced to our boy Blonde. He comes in drinking the soda with his sunglasses on, seemingly chill, even though what they say is, in the heist, he went crazy and started like blowing away the civilians because they hit the alarm. I guess people who work there, and then maybe civilians as well, that hit the alarm. Why do I have to be Mr. Pink? Because you're an F word. That's why. Why can't I be Mr. Purple? Like, no purple. He's like, oh, you got a cool sounding name. You're Mr. White. You want to trade? No trades. You got 5 guys that don't know each other. They're all fighting on who wants to be Mr. Black, you know? So that's why Joe gave them the names. They can't pick their own names. Yeah, Orange is fire. I do love Orange's flashback. So we're introduced to Michael Madsen, rest in peace, our boy Blonde. And he kind of tells them to calm down. They kind of like White calls him an a-hole. You know, you just started blasting people in the store. You almost killed me. Saying a gosh darn city council meeting. So, yeah, you know, that's when White confronts Blonde for, going crazy, becoming a psychopath, blah, 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 and just blowing away store workers after they hit the alarm. So, oh, yeah, run it back. It looked crispy as hell on the 4K.
I think everybody's going to want to kill me at the end because I'm just totally opposite to everyone. So, yeah, there's advance warning. I will be doing diplomatic rating, then personal rating, and you will not like the personal rating. But anyway, but no.
We'll find out what exactly you didn't like in your rating. So the flashback. So the flashback is Vic Vega walking into Joe and Eddie's office. He got paroled or whatever. He did his bid and he got out. So the Mr. Blonde origin, which this is probably, a lot of people's favorite part if Mr. Blonde is their favorite character. In flashback, having been paroled after a 4-year prison sentence, Blonde meets with the Cabots. To reward him for not giving Joe's name to the authorities, the Cabots offer Blonde a no-show job. Though grateful, Blonde insists that he wants to get back to real work, job work, and they recruit him for the heist. So, I mean, the dialogue exchange between Penn, nice guy Eddie, and Blonde there is insane. They start wrestling, or he's like, I should have picked you up. And he's like, yeah, not that. He's like, I had my head up my A. And he's like, oh yeah, that's what me and your dad were just talking about. He's like, Vin, I need you. Eddie's messing up the business. They obviously like gag him on, and then he knows it's a joke. So they start wrestling on the floor. It just shows that Vega knows Eddie, they go way back. So I do like that exchange, guys, just grown men screwing around in the office. And then,
Yeah. He's trying to...
Yeah. There's some prison jokes there. We'll skip over those for our review because we don't want to get demonetized. But you guys saw what was said in the film. We'll let the Tarantino dialogue be. but it was hilarious. It was hilarious in my opinion. Back to the present. White and oh no, hold on. Well, they're skipping some stuff. So what did it say? Blonde arrives with the kidnapped policeman Marvin Nash. I want to show you something. I got outside. Come on. I'm sure you'll like it. And White says, "Would you get some French fries to go with the soda?" And he said, "No, I already had those." So they go out to the car. Did you think you knew what was in the car, guys, or was it just like a total random for you?
No, expected there to be somebody in there, either one of the gang or what is revealed.
For sure. So we showed you guys the screen, the cover there on the disc. So that's obviously the angle of inside the car, looking up out of the trunk. Obviously, it's Officer Marvin Nash. So Blonde, being the psycho that he is, kidnapped one of the cops on the way out of the heist. A bit of a curveball. So they bring him inside. And they just start like beating that guy down, interrogating him, duct tape him to the chair or whatever, start beating the crap. They hang him, start beating the crap out of him. Pink tries to punch him in the face and like messes up his hand, you know what I mean? Because he threw the punch wrong. White just beats the crap out of him. And Eddie eventually shows up. Orders them to go with him to ditch the getaway vehicles, leaving Blonde in charge of prisoner Nash and the in and out of consciousness Orange. Nash denies prior knowledge of the heist, but Blonde resumes the torture, slashing Nash's face and cutting off his ear with a straight razor while the radio plays "Stuck in the Middle with You." And that's, obviously the famous Blonde scene. Yeah, Mr. Brown sounds a little too close to Mr. SH. Yeah, absolutely. More classic dialogue. So this is the famous scene, guys, the torture scene. It's my understanding that there's Psycho influence here, because when he cuts off Nash's ear, Tarantino points it at the corner of the warehouse, and it doesn't actually show you the dismembering. I forget why, but I think Hitchcock did that in the stabbing scene, like when the Psycho was stabbing the girl in the shower. He looked at the floor, he looked away at the shower. So this is supposed to be a recreation of that Psycho murder. Those who don't know their Tarantino lore and fanboyism. Before that, though, there is a back and forth between Nash and Blonde where he's like, I don't know anything. Your boss said this, your boss said that. And he's like, my what? He's like, oh, I want you to know something. I don't have a boss. Nobody tells me what to do. And what Blonde tells him is, I don't give a good care what you know or don't know. Like, I'm going to torture and kill you anyway. So that establishes Blonde's kind of psychopathy, as White put it. He's not looking for information out of him. He's just going to torture and kill the cop regardless, because he's a cop. So did that have like the expected effect on you guys, that Blonde is just like desensitized and different?
Well, I already knew. I just thought it was unnecessary, and I'm used to watching, violent things. I just thought it was unnecessary. I did when I first saw it, and still thought the same. I just thought completely pointless, and everyone goes on about that scene, and I'm like, I just don't get it. So
it's just shock value. Yeah. It doesn't show you the actual cut either. So it's more like just the dude's bloody face. He scratches him with a razor. Although I will say, when he takes off his ear, he's like, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
When he talked in his ear, I was like, bro, come on. And then he just like threw the ear away. I'm like, this guy is insane. I mean, as far as his performance, like, I don't know that this is the best scene in the movie, but his performance is insane. And then, of course, he goes, a pretty cool camera angle, follows him outside, right to the trunk again, and then follows him back in with a gas can under his arm. I mean, you saw what happened to Gaz last time. He had.
I'm the wrong audience, because I'm not a true crime person, and I'm guessing everyone's more from a crime heist perspective. So I'm really not the right audience for this movie. But as I've said before, myself and Ross, we do look at recommendations from everyone. There's Ross's picks, my picks, so it's going to happen. There are going to be sometimes movies. I'll say this: it's better than watching the Crow remake. Hell.
Well, yeah, the acting is far better as the director.
Yeah.
Wanted to see theatrical debut on October 9th, 92. So it's the 33 anniversary. So just for anybody who didn't know, that's why we wanted to do this one, obviously, because Michael Madsen passed recently, and we hadn't done any like great Madsens, and then also because this is the anniversary in a couple weeks, so we just wanted to get this one going for you guys. And yeah, no, I'm big on the heist movies, obviously. So he does his little dance, stuck in the middle with you. He dances around with the gas can. When Blonde prepares to set Nash on fire, Orange shoots and kills Blonde. So he's like, he pours the gas all over him, and then he makes like a stream of it. As a lighter, I think they all have Zippos, right? I think it's a Zippo, which is super 90s. And he's like saying, "Hey, talk to me, man. Like, don't do this." Da. He's like, "You all good? You all good?" So you can see that Blonde is about to drop the lighter on the gas, and that's when R.I.P. Madsen, he's the GOAT. That's when Orange shoots him. So Orange dumps like the whole clip. Like, it's go ahead, guys.
No, sorry, bro. Go on, bro. I'll send him.
I was just gonna say it's crazy how Orange dumps the whole clip. I get why he did it because he's a cop protecting the other cop, but that also made it so he either couldn't protect himself later in the ending, or he saved the last bullet for himself. You know.
I was just about to say that, and he certainly manages to deliver a lot of lines considering the condition he's in, isn't he? Hangs on for a long time. I thought that the full clip as well. Yeah.
Tim Roth is a sick actor, man. Even
definitely
out on the ground for the whole movie. Yeah. But his flashbacks are dope too, and I think it.
When it comes to that, when we do, it was one scene in that flashback that really was excellent. But I'll wait till we get to it.
So because Blonde is now dead, so when Nice Guy Eddie returns with the jewelry bag or whatever, the heist bag, and I think this is where Joe comes back in, disclosing to Nash that he shoots him, and then he tells Orange and Nash talk that Nash is like, hey, Orange is like, hey, I'm a cop, disclosing to Nash that he's an undercover police officer. Orange says that the police will arrive when Joe comes into the warehouse. Nash replies that he recognizes Orange, revealing that Nash protected Origin's cover under torture. And then the flashback, this is Orange's flashbacks to show scenes of Orange gaining Joe's and White's confidence and building a rapport with the team. So, yeah, I just want to highlight Nash not breaking under the torture gas. Like, that was pretty sick. You could have just said, like, that's your rat right there. Now, they probably would have killed Nash anyway, but he kept his secret with his ear cut off, covered in gasoline, beat him down, cut his face. So he just like that. I thought that was crazy that Nash just he stood up for his brother in his arms.
His exchange with Mr. Orange as well after that.
Yep, exactly. I would like to, man. David Aranchek is the most difficult guy to contact in the Zodiac world. But I would like to. I've reached out to him, so we'll see what happens. It's always an open possibility. So anyway, I love these Tim Roth flashbacks. So it's him and his boy, who's like plays like his guru, mentor dude. And I did shout out that actor earlier. It's obviously Tim Roth is Orange, and this dude is Randy Brooks, who plays Holdaway. I just liked his revolutionary look, guys. He had that like Che Guevara style cap and just like very like 90s. You could tell he was like a revolutionary kind of dude. He gives him the pot story. So they're on the rooftop and stuff. He tells him to memorize the scene. And then you have Mr. Orange kind of like different scenes of him in his apartment, memorizing the scene and stuff like that. Then recanting it to Holdaway. That graffiti background, guys, when he's sitting on the kind of the barrel of the trash can, whatever that is, when everything is all graphed up, like, I don't know. Like, honestly, I want to say, because, most of the movie is in the warehouse, except for the flashbacks. Whoever did location scouting, absolutely sick. I don't know if Tarantino was really involved in that. Obviously, he has other people involved in the film production. But I love that graffiti one when he's on, like, in front of the kind of garage doors and he's, like, telling the story. Yeah. Like in the white beater, just the graffiti background. Just some really good angles there, too. The framing of Holdaway and the framing of Orange. The fact that it's only two characters. I loved all of those.
Yeah. I do like that scene, Ross, where they are on top of what looks like a skyscraper, and he's getting Mr. Orange, aka Tim Roth, to kind of like almost rehearse it if he was going for a role as an actor. And, and he's already said to him, look, you've got to act, you've got to make this convincing. It's smart on one way. Yeah. And it's good from a filmmaking point of utilizing their small budget, utilizing something to make a statement, what is realistic to the actor's role in the film. He's playing an undercover cop. He obviously has to be convincing. So that the whole exchange and the way that's done is one of the standout scenes. So from a filmmaking perspective, I thought that was done very well.
Yeah, I agree. And I love the whole paradox of an actor playing a character that's memorizing lines that essentially needs to play a role of undercover cop. So it's like an actor acting as an actor. You know what I mean? It's like a Inception of acting, which is absolutely sick. And then obviously Holdaway as his mentor.
And the way Roth was holding that shit, like literally being given, his set of lines and he's rehearsing it for an audition or his role that day.
Smoking a butt in his apartment. Yeah. We can see he's a comic book head. He's got the Silver Surfer poster, and he's like a 90s comic book head. So a little bit more background into Mr. Orange's like personality, which is cool, characterization, story arc, whatever you want to call it. Then them in the diner. Holdaway asking him about Joe. What's Joe like? At first, he's asking about Larry, aka Mr. White. He bet on the Milwaukee team. He's probably from Wisconsin. The way that they backtrack the character's origins. He bet on this team, which means he's probably from out there. And shout out, Keitel is a living legend. If he ever dies, we riot. We burn down Hollywood. Keitel must live forever. Harvey Keitel kicked in money to help with the budget. I remember talking about that because I know Reservoir Dogs had some production issues. Hopefully we'll get to that if we had time. And I know at the time they were considering somebody else other than Tarantino, like it was just going to be his script. And then I believe it was kind of like a last minute thing. Tarantino stepped at the end and like he's actually going to be directing. And, I know you're not crazy about his repertoire, guys, but it's just interesting because it's like that sets off Tarantino's, whole career, which, arguably becomes the best new school, director, according to a lot of people. Just a lot of cool stuff with Orange. And then obviously when he finally memorizes the weed story, it shows him telling Joe and Eddie and White in the club when they're smoking butts. Also, I want to say almost every character smoked, Gaz. Blonde, White, Pink, Joe, Orange. I think almost, correct us if we're wrong in the chat, but I think almost every, you're out there near Wisconsin, Pixie, you're from there, right? Almost every character in the movie smoked, which is like as 90s as it gets. But okay, so we'll do his cop story. So he says he goes in the bathroom with the bag full of weed. The shepherd, I love the close-ups on the shepherd, guys. It's just like barking at him. And then I love like the cops, how they all stare at him with those ice faces. He goes to use the urinal. And then he washes, he has to walk right next to them. He washes his hands. And then when he uses the hand dryer, like that's when they're all staring at him. And then the slow-mo close up on the shepherd, it's like barking at him. You know what I mean? That's just sick. Just a sick dog scene. We got some best of the best in there for you guys. Chris Penn is him. And
I found something I could like.
Yeah. He's also in Mortal Kombat 1, right?
Yeah, I think he is.
Goro kills him.
Yeah. You're right. And
what is he, BJJ? Or he does have, I think, a black belt.
Yeah, it's something like judo thing. Yeah, because that's when Lyndon Ashby, Johnny Cage fights him next, isn't it? Yeah. And does the groin strike, the splits, the groin punch. Yep. Yeah. Good call, man. Good call.
Had the gi.
Yeah.
So, stay locked in, Red. I don't know yet. I mean, did you go watch Michael Cole? I would say go start with Michael Cole. We're probably going to have a debate coming up soon. I don't know who the next interview is going to be. I'll probably bring Richard Grinnell back up, and we'll do like the letters because we really haven't done a deep dive. That's our boy from Coventry, UK. Gaz's neighbor out there. Reservoir Dogs was released 1.5 months after Arthur Lee Allen died. Coincidence? No, absolutely not. Just the power of Reservoir Dogs just completely obliterated ALA. It wasn't even close. Okay, where was I? We got a little sidetracked there, lads. Okay, so the cop story, yeah. So that's Orange's backstory that Holdaway gave him that allowed him to infiltrate Joe Cabot's kind of heisting crew. So stuck in the middle of you. Rapport. Okay. When Eddie, Pink, and White return, Orange tries to convince them that Blonde planned to kill them all and steal the diamonds for himself. Eddie shoots and kills Nash and accuses Orange of lying since Blonde proved loyal to his father. He's like he tortured and tried to kill the cop, and Eddie just takes out the pistol and just shoots Nash like 3 times in the chest. He's like, this cop, and you could just tell that nice guy Eddie did not care at all. Of course, they did have a witness there the whole time listening to everything they said. So Nash obviously heard all the conversation. So, you kind of figured something bad was going to happen to him. Since Blonde proved loyal to his father, because he told the story about how Blonde didn't rat on him when he got popped at the warehouse. Joe arrives with news that the police have killed Blue, suspecting that Orange is the traitor behind the setup. Joe is about to execute him, but White intervenes, holding Joe at gunpoint and insisting that Orange is not a police officer. This is another famous framing poster of Eddie, Joe, and White all pointing the guns at each other, kind of in that triangle. We also did it show it yet? I don't think they have it on here, but Larry, aka White's flashback, it showed how him and Orange hijacked you mentioned this, Pixie, in the chat, the innocent bystander's car. It was a lady driving, but she had a revolver in the glove box. And so Orange actually got shot by a civilian, which is quite a bit different than everything else that you see. Also, Mr. Brown, somebody said they wanted to...
Orange is the cop,
Yeah, somebody wanted... I wish Tarantino acted more, Slipknot. Yeah, I mean, definitely. But honestly, it was a bit like his character in Dusk Till Dawn, where, obviously he's directing, so I don't think, Tarantino is going to be like, hey, Mr. Brown needs to be some main character, because he already wrote the entire script, and he directed the film, and he's acting in it. He probably doesn't want to be like a Orange or a White or a Pink who's in most of the scenes, because he's got to, do everything technically, right? But I agree. I mean, obviously you have later on movies where Tarantino acted quite a bit more. Mary Kelly, the one that went around Wisconsin breaking windows, I bet she was awesome. Not sure. Is Orange the cop?
Yeah, it's Tim Roth's character, isn't it?
Yeah. We're getting to that right now. So, suspecting that Orange is a traitor behind the setup. Joe's about to execute him, but White intervenes, so we're talking about them aiming the 3 guns at each other. Eddie aims a gun at White, creating a Mexican standoff. Eddie says, don't you point that gun at my dad, so let's put the guns down and have a conversation. And White, it all happens because White feels responsible for Orange getting shot. And then, mind you, White told Orange some personal things about him, so he's like, if Orange lives, White's going to be the first one that's identified. So basically, Joe, again, spoiler alert, fast forward if you guys need to. Yeah, nice try, Pixie. You can't throw us off. I conduct all things film related in this channel. This is it's my chocolate factory, right? Consider me Willy Wonka. Random Devil's Rejects line there. So Joe tries to shoot at Orange. I couldn't really see if Joe hit Orange because it looked like he missed, but but you could see he aimed down. He shot at the ground. White obviously shot Joe, and Eddie shot White. Though all 3 shot each other. They all fall down. As they thank you, Dark Side. Have a good one.
Yeah, take care. Thank you.
The Mexican standoff is insanely tense. I agree, Slipknot. So they all fall down. Both Eddie and Joe Cabot are killed, and White and Orange are wounded. Okay, so it's saying Orange still did get shot, even though he was already shot earlier in the movie. White and Orange kind of have this moment. Pink flees with the diamonds, but a crash is heard outside, and gunshots follow. So Pink obviously ran into the ambush. As White cradles the dying Orange in his arms, Orange confesses that he is a police officer. White presses his gun to Orange's head. The police storm the warehouse and order White to drop his gun, but he doesn't. Gunshots are heard, and White is killed by the police. So it doesn't show it to you, but off camera, basically what you hear is White fire the shot into Orange, and then all the cops shoot into White. Anything else on this final scene, guys?
Again, I think it's a good way to close a film from that filmmaking perspective, the way it cuts to credits, as you said, it's implied that why it was shot, because you obviously hear the shots, we don't see it. And it's just a nice way to fade out to the close.
Yeah, the only thing I want to call back to is when it showed. So you never see the heist, guys. It never shows you the jewelry shop. It shows dudes running out. It shows Pink running out with the diamonds, with like the cops chasing him.
3 cops, yeah.
Pink, I think, steals a car too. He shoots at 3 cops and hits a few of them. And then actually Nash is the one chasing Pink, I think, right? Which means Blonde caught Nash.
Oh, good call. I didn't. Nice.
You see it. He's like he's shooting at Pink, and then
right.
So that insinuates that Blonde caught Nash right behind Pink. But when Brown crashes, who's Tarantino, obviously you guys should know who Quentin Tarantino is. Oh man, I love this. There's lore that the diamonds that Mr. Pink stole is what is in the briefcase that Vincent in Pulp Fiction sees, the Marcellus Wallace briefcase. Dude, I love that. And there are a couple connections, so I want to go over those as well, to Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction being the same Tarantino verse. But when Mr. White Cartel has the dual pistols, guys, and he shoots those cops through the windshield, like that's a pretty crazy scene. And then obviously you see like Brown Tarantino. He's like, I got blood in my eyes. I'm blind. And Orange is like, no, you're not blind. You just have blood in your eyes. And then when they look back, Brown's dead. Tarantino is just dead driving in the car. Anyway, Tarantino dies in like every movie he acts in. I think he just like likes doing that because he's a psycho. And then the other one I wanted to talk about was when Pink was running away from those cops, and he just like shot over, like, because one thing I noticed a lot of new things on this watch, guys. There's cars going by on that main street, but there's no, when it shoots down the street of the car that he gets into, there's no cars. So it just makes you think like that was probably pretty difficult to film. Like they had to have those extras driving the cars to make it like simulate traffic. And then obviously at the same time, shut down the street to do the outside the jewelry shop shootout, which is like pretty hard thing to do, especially in broad daylight. I don't know. Any other highlight scenes you got or anything like that, guys, before we...
Not really, man. No.
Okay. So then we'll talk about the connection. So there's a Marcellus Wallace mention. I think that's the Blonde flashback when Eddie, Blonde, and Joe are talking in his office. Marcellus is obviously why can't I remember? What the heck is that actor's name? The dude that plays Marcellus in Pulp Fiction. I've totally spaced on his name. We were talking about that one movie with Wesley Snipes in jail, guys, when he fights that other big Jack dude.
Oh, the boxing one I was on about. Blade. Dude. I know your name.
Help me out, Pixie. I forgot Marcellus's name in Pulp Fiction, but I'm sure it will come back to me. Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames. So they mentioned Marcellus Wallace in Reservoir Dogs, who's Ving Rhames' character in Pulp Fiction. They also, Blonde also says his parole officer Scagnetti. And I think Scagnetti is a character in Pulp Fiction as well. Or is he the dude in Natural Born Killers? I know he's in one of the Tarantino movies. So anyway, my point is there's references to other Tarantino characters, other Tarantino movies. So like Pixie just said, what Marcellus Wallace had in the briefcase that they never show you in Pulp Fiction, that could be the diamond stolen from Reservoir Dogs, which would be sick. It would, collect them further. I don't think it's if you're talking about the Rob Zombie, I think it's a series. It's actually a series. He's from Pulp Fiction. Marcellus something with an S in Reservoir Dogs. Okay, so it was a different. So he said a different name. It was Marcellus, but it wasn't Wallace. But I'm pretty sure Scagnetti is in one of the other ones. I think he's what's his name? Man, I'm not doing good with actor names today. Tom Sizemore, I think, is that who's Scagnetti in Natural Born Killers? Either that or some dude that looked like him, but I'm pretty sure it was Sizemore. Rest in peace, Sizemore. All right, cast. Rich Turner plays Sheriff Number 1. Nina Semesco played police officer Jody McCluskey. Her scenes were deleted from the theatrical release. There's an unseen accomplice of Joe and Eddie who speaks to Eddie on the phone. His name is Dove Schwartz, named after the sound editor on My Best Friend's Birthday. Okay, that's kind of random. Don't know anything about that. Let's see. We'll do... Yeah, there is a video game, Gaz, from 2006. I never played that. Only Michael
Really?
Madsen reprised his role from the film. The
Hang on, it was at PS2, I think.
So yeah, PC, Xbox, and PS2.
Yeah. I remember it. I remember the cover. I've not played it, but I remember seeing the cover. PS2, yeah.
Mac played it. I don't remember what he said. The game is received unfavorably, with GameSpot calling it an in-and-out failure. It caused controversy for its amount of violence. It was banned in Australia, Germany, and New Zealand. That's always fun. Another game, Reservoir Dogs Bloody Days, was released in 2017. I haven't played that either. December 14th, 2017, Overkill Software added a heist to Payday 2, inspired by Reservoir Dogs. The player is contracted to rob a jewelry store in LA with the Cabot family. It is unique that the heist is played in reverse order, with day 2 occurring prior to day 1, similar to how the film's plot is played out in chronological order. Shout out to Payday. I love the Payday series. You guys heard me talking about that with my boy from Point Break. And that was an excellent interview, so go check out that. But yeah, I love Overkill and Payday. So, production. Quentin Tarantino had been working at Video Archives, a video store in Manhattan Beach, and originally planned to shoot the film with his friends on a budget of $30K in a 16mm black and white format, with himself playing Mr. Pink and producer Lawrence Bender playing both nice guy Eddie and a police officer chasing Mr. Pink. Bender gave the script to his acting teacher, whose wife gave the script to Harvey Keitel. Harvey Keitel liked it enough to sign on as co-producer, so Tarantino and Bender would have an easier job finding funding. With his assistance, they raised $1.5 million. Tarantino also paid for Keitel also paid for Tarantino and Bender to host casting sessions in New York, where the duo found Steve Buscemi, Michael Madsen, and Tim Roth. Tim Roth's agents originally wanted him to be Mr. Pink or Mr. Blonde, but he preferred Mr. Orange because he would be an English actor pretending to be an American playing a cop pretending to be a robber, like me and Gaz were saying. That's a cool way to put it. Michael Madsen wanted to play Mr. Pink and auditioned for that part, but Tarantino insisted that he play Blonde. John Cryer was asked to audition for the role of Pink, but he backed out at the last minute. James Woods was also considered for Pink, but his agent turned him down without telling him. You guys will like these ones. Viggo Mortensen, George Clooney, Samuel L. Jackson, and David Duchovny also read for roles. I did not think of that, but I mean, George Clooney is big in George Clooney is big on Ocean's 11. Yeah, be careful driving. Be careful driving. Good names for a band. Okay. Where was I? The film contains multiple homages to other films. In '92 interview, Tarantino said he likes the title of Reservoir Dogs because it sounded like a film by Alain Delon, played by Jean-Pierre Melville. I could see Alain Delon in a black suit say I'm Mr. Blonde. Moreover, Le Samouraï is one of the Tarantino's favorite films that influenced him in the creation world of Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. I don't know what Le Samouraï is. I'm going to check that out.
No, that has me interested.
Looks French. I know he watches a lot of like French New Wave stuff. So Gazzy and I will deep dive that, since I'm a boy that never heard of it. Films influence in the creation of Pulp Fiction. The idea, costumes of the films come from a discussion between Tarantino and costume designer Betsy Hyman about French noir films with Alain Delon. Tarantino said that Reservoir Dogs was influenced by Stanley Kubrick's film noir The Killing. I don't know if I've seen The Killing. I can't remember now. I gotta watch that. I got a lot of homework. I didn't go out of my way to do a ripoff of The Killing, but I did think of it as my take on that kind of heist movie. The film's plot was also inspired by 1952 film Kansas City Confidential. Additionally, Joseph H. Lewis's 1955 film The Big Combo, and Sergio Corbucci's 1966 spaghetti western Django, inspired by the scene where the police officer is tortured in a chair. That's the original Django. I got to see that, guys. It's a 66 spaghetti western.
Agreed.
Having the main character named after colors, pink, white, brown, was first seen in the 1974 film The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. And I know they did a remake of that, and I don't think I've seen the original either. You seen either of those guys?
I think I have. Isn't Denzel Washington in the remake? And I believe I've seen the original on TV just once. Not too bad from what I can remember.
Yeah, I'm going to put all these on my list and watch them, guys. The film also contains key elements similar to those found in Ringo Lam's 1987 film City on Fire. Tarantino praises film City on Fire, mentioned as a major influence. Is this okay? So that I thought that was a John Woo, but it turns out it's Ringo Lam, but that's Chun Yao Fat.
It's a good movie, that City on Fire.
I always thought that was John Woo, but I
guess
on that it's because it's very close to a Woo film.
Yeah,
but Hong Kong action, etc. You've heard me and Gaz talk about it. The film's production experienced several significant difficulties. Tarantino said that everybody hated Lawrence Tierney by the end of the first week of production because of his on-set behavior and volatility. He seemed to some of the cast and crew to be evincing psychological problems. Ultimately, Tierney was fired, with Tarantino stating Tierney was an effing nightmare. He was completely insane. He was so crazy. All the other actors in the crew can't stand him. And all of a sudden, he yells at me, does something disrespectful. And so I fired him at the breakfast table. The crew breaks into applause. I didn't know about that one, but typical Tarantino, you don't screw with that guy. And mind you, that's a Tarantino in his first movie. Imagine how he is now. Guy's a beast. The warehouse scenes were filmed in an unused mortuary filled with caskets. Dude, I was wondering what those things were in the background, guys, that were wrapped up. Because it looked like data center racks to me. Obviously, there probably weren't many of those in '92. Caskets, funeral equipment, and bombing fluid in a hearse. So that's why there was all those like weird chemicals and stuff. Mr. Orange's apartment was a room on the second floor of the mortuary set to look like living quarters. The building has since been demolished. So that's cool that they double used that. Tarantino's decision not to film the diamond robbery was twofold: for budgetary reasons and to keep the details of the heist ambiguous. By not showing the robbery and having the characters describe it, Tarantino explained the film is allowed to be about other things, similar to the way the burglary in Glen Ross and its film adaptations is discussed, described, and debated, but never shown. Tarantino compared the technique to the work of a novelist and said he wanted the film to be about something not seen to play with a real-time clock as opposed to a movie clock ticking. So remakes. Oh God, here we go. I'm bouncing around, Pixie, but this is for you. Chianti, a Bollywood film released in 2002, is a remake of Reservoir Dogs combined with elements of City on Fire. The film also borrows plot points from Heat and The Killing. Tarantino has been quoted as saying that Chianti is his favorite among the many films inspired by his work. Tarantino later screened Chianti at his New Beverly Cinema alongside Reservoir Dogs and City on Fire. Tarantino revealed in June 2021 that he had one point considered remaking Reservoir Dogs as his 10th and final directed film, though he quickly iterated that he won't do it. Well, I know you don't care either way, guys, but if anyone other than Tarantino remade Reservoir Dogs, I would have melted down.
I would like to see the Bollywood version just for the entertainment value. So that sounds interesting, because I'm stupid enough to watch people punching through oak trees and things, as regularly happens in Bollywood movies.
I'll watch it. Apparently Tarantino liked it. So if he liked it, I can't, as a Tarantino fanboy, I can't go against his opinion. So I'll watch it. So let's do our ratings. Everybody get your ratings ready in the chat, and then me and Ghazi I'll do box office. We'll kind of take us out of here. I'll go first because we know mine will be quick and easy and nice and simple. Real quick, before I get into that, I just want to talk about the pacing, guys, because on this, I've seen the movie probably at least 20 times on different formats, DVD, blah, blah, blah. I think I actually have two over here. I think I have the 4K and the DVD, so deal with it. But when you think about Reservoir Dogs, as Gaz was kind of saying at the beginning, is you always think about I got you. Oh, yeah, you sent me the is that the Little Samurai? Yeah, for sure. I was looking at that too. You always think about the blonde torture scene. You always think about the final ending of the shootout, them escaping the heist, and kind of the action-oriented, firearm scenes. But it's actually much more of a dialogue-driven movie. Just of like, that's one thing I noticed, guys, of the backgrounds of the flashbacks and stuff. And I gotta highlight the pacing, because it's much more dialogue heavy than it is like a heisting action, cops and robbers shootout movie. It's definitely not Heat, right? Where they just have like 20-minute shootouts in the streets with assault rifles. Like Reservoir Dogs, it's just not Heat, But I thought the pacing is still really good and holds up, given that it's mostly one location for the most part, dialogue-driven film. That's just, you kind of notice different things each time. So I still think the pacing holds up to this day, that it's not just like a run and gun. Hey, get in there, get the diamonds, blow away all the cops. You probably watch it differently than I guys.
Yeah, I find it incredibly boring. There's just nothing happens. It's essentially just a collection of guys swearing at each other for a few hours with nothing really happening. Yeah, thank God it wasn't 3 hours. But I don't think I'm the audience for this. From the filmmaking aspect, I'm not being arrogant here, folks. I can definitely respect it. We had to look at the script in film school, read the script. I really respect the way it was made, what happened, the angles as well on the filming. I do think the way we are introduced to the film and the way it ends, Ross, is really well done. Sean Penn. Sorry, I keep saying Sean Penn. Chris Penn.
His brother, yep.
His brother, respect to Chris, R.I.P. I do think he doesn't get enough credit for his role in this film because people obviously always focus on Harvey Keitel being one of the known, Steve Buscemi, then Tim Roth as well. But even when Chris Penn returns to the warehouse just after they'd been torturing the cop and he's kind of having a meltdown at the whole mess, what's happened, there's kind of that dark comedy element in there because he's like, man, I'm having to manage this. I've got to explain this to the big boss, my father as well. There's been a complete mess. What's going to happen here? So there are some interesting dynamics. I do think the film is, for me, Ross, if it was a 15-minute film, this is probably going to be blasphemy for the fans here, but that would work better. It's interesting to know that Tarantino went with that novel aspect. You can definitely see that, and I think that's cool. So yeah, for me, just it's an interesting one because I'm sat here, Ross, saying, "Oh yeah, this isn't my thing," but you know me well, man. Let's say this had triads in it and Yakuza and was set in the East. I'd be saying something very different.
Well, then I guess Gaz's pick should be Black Rain when we come.
Yeah, Black Rain, awesome movie. Yeah,
Black Rain's insane.
Yeah,
it just kind of, I guess, like what would be the Yakuza aspect of Reservoir Dogs? I would think of Black Rain. One thing I forgot to mention, the camera angles. I do love how it follows on down to the car and getting the gas can. And then also, we didn't mention this yet, but the 360-degree camera angles. He uses those a couple times when Nash is in the torture chair. And also, I believe when Orange is telling one of those stories that I think it might be the cop story in the bathroom. It spins around Orange. And like, you didn't really see, I think that was a pretty early thing that kind of Tarantino came up with.
Two things.
Yeah, Pixie.
Two things on the angles, which I think are very interesting. Mr. Blonde's introduction with the camera, you know, when he's got the drink in his hand and he's watching Mr. Orange and Harvey Keitel and Mr. Pink all have their exchange with each other. That's really good. And then there's a brief, it's only a very short scene, Ross. It's in one of the flashbacks. And you get that view of the driver in the car just through the window. And it kind of reminds me of that old school game, the Driver games. I think we're on PS1 or PS2. The whole way that was shot. And then you hear the guy, the radio DJ who sounded like he had as much enthusiasm for this film as I did. The way he was talking, coming up next is another 70s classic.
Sounds like the 70s. It's even right.
But that was an excellent shot, man.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good ones. The other thing I was thinking of highlight a nice guy Eddie dialogue. So first of all, he's got the massive brick mobile phone when he's driving to the warehouse. He's like, I don't know where it is. I don't know who's alive. I don't know who's caught. I don't know who's
truck suit.
I don't know who's dead. I don't know who's alive. And then when he comes in, he's like, "Are you going to call a doctor for Orange?" He's like, "Excuse me, Mr. Compassion, I'll call someone." He's like, "Who?" He's like, "A snake charmer." Like, just their little like back and forth like banter is like I like the Tarantino dialogue. I know it's not for everybody. Themes, you know, extreme violence, you know, racism. Tarantino movies heavy on the N-word, so not everybody's cup of tea. I can understand that. Yeah, there's a whole bunch coming up soon. I'm sorry I haven't posted it yet in the post section. I will post it. Reservoir Dogs today, Avenging Force next week. Hopefully bring back our boy Crime Spot Brett for Goodfellas. And then we have to figure out what's going to be last for September. So if you guys have any
throw
them out. Get him, Pixie. Get him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I'm used to it. Ross has had to endure my rants for years on anything we don't both agree on or whatever. So it's very mutual. Don't worry, it's equal. Red, just to answer one of your earlier questions, the way we usually do it is we'll look at the schedule, we'll look at recommendations from both the audience, Ross's personal picks, my personal picks. Then films we both like or things we haven't heard of. It usually goes around that, and we always open up to say, right, drop us your recommendations. We go through themes and genres as well. Literally, if it's westerns, this is a heist. So if it was just going to be what Ross likes all the time or me, well, that would be pretty boring, folks. And we like to present the show with our genuine, honest takes, what we think is good. And even if it's a film that we don't like, we'll look for something positive in there, like from a filmmaking angle as well.
Yeah, so basically, Gaz and I both have our lists of favorites, which we call PXF classics. Then we also look at what like movie anniversaries or when they land. So we try to get like the PXF classics near to the anniversary if we can, like this one. Only a couple weeks off. Then also the audience recommendations, and then also what we're watching in the theater. So obviously we had the pop-up show for the Toxic Avenger remake. That's just because I'm a Toxic fanboy, so we needed we needed our boys to hold us down. But anyway, got off the beaten path a bit there. So let's get back to ratings. Drop your ratings in the chat, and I'll do mine first. Then we'll get Gaz's. I lost IMDb. What have I done? Okay. Reservoir Dogs, 8.3 out of 10 with 1.1 million reviews on IMDb. You can stream it on Peacock, rent or buy on Amazon. 10 out of 10 for me. My Tarantino fanboyism remains unchallenged. So that's pretty much all.
It's going to be in a minute.
Love the music. It's going to be in a second when guys say it. Love the music. Tarantino's got a pretty small role, but it's his directorial debut. I mean, I'm a Harvey Keitel fanboy. I like most of Tim Roth's stuff. I mean, he can be hit or miss with some of his newer stuff. Obviously, Steve Buscemi, a legend.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a pretty stacked cast. It's interesting reading those people who read, because it's just so hard to picture Reservoir Dogs without Tarantino, Tim Roth, Michael Madsen, rest in peace, Harvey Keitel, just too many sick actors. So I'll work on this. Red. It's like I said, he's a tough guy to track down. He doesn't like that dude. Like has top secret clearance for the government, so you don't just call him a cell phone.
Yeah.
You can join the Patreon for free with your Gmail. Gaz, why don't you be the party pooper and just ruin the review?
Oh, as always. Well, before that, just a random one. I remember Mac recommending this, and I haven't seen it for so long, only once, and that's Tim Roth's movie with Tupac Gridlocked. So I'm going to have to watch that again. A lot of people do speak highly of that as well. So I'll go at it from two angles, as always, to be diplomatic. So I realize I'm the wrong audience and everything. So from a filmmaking angle, both in terms of writing script, the camera shots, introduction of the characters, which is still very good, some notable performances as well. Even Steve Buscemi and Harvey Keitel's exchanges, there's a lot of positive things that I can respect from that aspect. So I would give it about a 7 on that side. Personal opinion, and Pixie will kill me, probably 3. Very boring, hard watch, 2 hours, as I said, of really nothing really happening, of people just pretty much swearing at each other. It needs something to happen for me. I get doing the novel kind of approach. I probably would appreciate it more as a novel, actually, Ross. So yeah, I think if you like heist movies and you're from true crime background, this will probably be a classic for you. If, like me, you need something a bit more to happen, then it might be a difficult one. However, there is a reason it was, we had to read the script in film school, Ross. So there's testament. Yeah, Five Pixie, it's each to their own. It's very, very boring, very slow, and it was torture for me. But I can respect the filmmaking aspect to it. Just sounds like I'm totally crapping on Ross, and I'm certainly not.
I'm a Tarantino heist movie fanboy, so you guys know I don't get my feelings hurt.
I do like Django Unchained by Tarantino, so that's the one I do like from him. That is a good movie. That is one I do like. It's an awesome
love Django
movie.
Unchained. I want to watch regular Django as well. That we've
got to look at that.
Yeah.
And that Le Samurai, I found it as well. That sounds interesting, man. Maybe take a look at that as well. Apparently, go on, boss.
Whereas you like Django Unchained, I'm surprised you don't like Inglourious Bastards, Gaz, because
I'm supposed to, and I didn't, man. It just didn't quite do it for me. And normally I would like that kind of thing as well, and I didn't. I seem to think I didn't mind True Romance, to be fair, but again, I've only seen it once, though, bro.
I think Tarantino wrote True Romance, but I don't know that he directed it.
Right. It'd be interesting if
Oliver Stone directed Natural Born Killers. Tony Scott directed True Romance.
Right. Screenplay by Tarantino and Roger Avery. Right.
Yeah. Tony Scott, the brother of Ridley Scott, rest in peace.
Yeah.
But I thought you would like Inglourious because Christopher Waltz, who plays the German in Django, he plays obviously the Jew hunter in Inglourious Bastards, where he speaks like 3 languages. Last time I watched Reservoir Dogs, first I didn't like it all, then I watch it more and more, the better it got. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of movies like this: Slipknot, Clockwork Orange, which is one of my favorite movies now, Blade Runner. When I watched both of those, I was just like too young and I didn't understand it. You know what I mean? I want to bring this up to you guys. Would you have liked it better if they did the heist scene?
If we actually saw the heist and a bit of action happened, I would have appreciated the film more. Because nothing really does. That's why, I feel how I do.
Yeah, all good, brother. Nobody's forced to watch anything that they're like anything that they watched. Box office: Reservoir Dogs premiered at the Sundance, January '92. It became the festival's most talked about film. It was subsequently picked up by Miramax after being shown in several other festivals, including Cannes, Sagies, don't know how to pronounce that, in Toronto. Reservoir Dogs opened in the U.S. in 19 theaters on October 9th, 92, with a first week total of about 150K. It was expanded to 61 theaters, totaled 2.8 mil at the domestic box. The film grossed more than double that in the UK, where everybody was watching it. Where it did not receive a home video release until 95. During the period of unavailability on home video, the film was re-released in UK cinemas in June 94. So we got critical reception, analysis, accolades, home media, of course the soundtrack, love the 70s, and I already told you guys the remakes. So check it out on Wikipedia, go stream it on Amazon, go pick up your 4K disc, and join us next week for Avenging Force, which is the semi-sequel to Invasion USA. So you should be tapped in for that, Pixie, and then that brings us back to our favorite topic here, the Most Dangerous Game. So, another Most Dangerous Game remake with Avenging Force. I'll try to cover that, do a little deep dive written review like you guys are accustomed to on my Patreon. We should have a debate coming up for Zodiac Files. We're still editing episodes 5 and 6 here. So again, email me or contact me if you want to get a shout out in the credits of the main series episode 5 and 6. Other than that, I think we're going to wrap, guys. Like, sub, share, head on over to Mosh Shinobi and subscribe to Gaz. Join the Patreon free or click join to get a membership. But I think we're about to be out. I'll give you guys a final minute and a half here for any final questions or any thoughts on Reservoir Dogs. Anything else on your end, Gazi?
No, just no. All man, I think I've just impressed most of the audience, so I'm just going to stay quiet.
For
Thanks for coming. See you next time.
On the review, I think we need to have you go first. That way I can go last, and then like more of a high as opposed to I don't like anything about this.
Yeah. That was probably one of the. Hopefully, stayed somewhat diplomatic.
We'll go out on fire, Pixie. I don't know, guys. Pooped in my Cheerios now. I'm still kind of down. Genius, love it. I always love when I review one of my favorite movies and we end Paradigm Review Show on a high. Really
it's always awesome giving you that good recommendation. Yeah, definitely go and check this out.
Gaz, the bearer of bad news.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say this. Here's a positive one. Right. If forced to watch the Crow remake or this, watch Reservoir Dogs. Do not suffer the Crow remake. Definitely not. Even though things happen in the Crow remake, it is painful. So there's a positive.
What we do owe Cody, guys, is he wanted us to do that reaction to the Days of Sodom trailer, which you might see PRS, PXF face when that movie comes out at the end of October. So a couple more weeks, maybe when October starts, we can get that going for him. And then we'll be doing some horrors for you guys in October, Zodtober as I call it here. We'll definitely be doing some horrors, and then like I said, there'll be some more Zodiac shows. Watch out for the debate series, trying to get that locked in soon, and the next interview when I book it. But I don't know. I'll probably be putting most of my effort to try and get episode 5 out. So we're out. Like, sub, share. Paradigm Review Show. Reservoir Dogs 1992. Rest in peace, Michael Madsen, the GOAT.
Yeah, definitely.
And click join for a membership, and you can join Patreon free with your Gmail. Next week, Avenging Force. Should be sick. Another Dudikoff classic. So Gaz will be a little bit more hyped up for that one.
I'll try and smile more for that one. Shout out to Chris Penn as well. Rest in peace as well.
Rest in peace as well. And I should have looked more into the Eddie Bunker stuff, being like an actual criminal, because I thought that was interesting. But if I'll do a quick little brief drop on it next show. So tune in next time, guys. Saturday, 2 p.m. Avenging Force should be sick. Back to the Most Dangerous Game theme. As always, leave recos in the live chat or below in the description, and all of our links can be found below. You can always follow me on Twitch too, where I've been playing Killing Floor 3 mostly, some Payday 3, and then Gaz and I will have the beat 'em ups dropping when Cosmic Invasion and Toxic Crusaders drop. We are, for our third outro in a row, we are out. Peace, guys. Thanks for tuning in.